Today we're going to focus on taking what we've learned about adding one thing, a number or something, to one side of the equation and also having to add it to the other side of the equation. And we're going to put that with, well, what if we have variables on both sides of our equation? You know that we need to collect like terms. We need to have our variables on one side and our constants on the other. Our constants are just our numbers that don't change. Our variables are numbers that, well, we don't know what the variable equals and we need to figure out what it equals. So if there are variable terms on opposite sides of the equation, we can put them on the same side by using the addition property, just like we've learned in the past few lessons. And then we just simplify by collecting like terms. So I'm going to do some examples for you. This example here, the original equation is 2x minus 2 equals negative 3x plus 3. And as you can see, we've got our variables on both sides. We need to get them on one side. So the first thing I'm going to do is over here on my right hand side of the equation, I'm going to add a 3x. Because I need to get all of my variables over here on the left on the same side. So when I do that, it takes my negative 3x away, and I'm left, and over here on my left hand side I have 5x. Still have take away my negative 2 right here, equals just 3 now on the right hand side. Then I'm going to move my constant over to the right hand side of the equation. So this is a negative 2, so I'm going to add a 2 to both sides, so I get 0 over here. So now I have 5x equals 3 plus 2, which is 5. And then I'm going to use my multiplicative property of equality next to get rid of the 5 that's attached to this x that's multiplied with this x. And as you know, we can say we're multiplying by 1/5, or since this is a whole number, we can say we're dividing by 5. So our x is equal to 1. Here's another example. Just has a little bit more in here, a little more involved. 6m plus 5 minus 7m equals 10 minus 5m plus 3. So if you take a look at what I did first, was just simplified both sides of the equation, because I had a 6m and a negative 7m, so I put those together. I have a negative m plus 5, and over here I have a negative 5m, but I have a 10 and a 3, so I added those together first and got 13 minus 5m. Now I want to get my m's on one side of the equation, and I can move my m's to the right if I choose to and keep my constants on the left if I want to. So this time that's what I did. I added an m on the left hand side of the equation to cancel these two out. They become 0, but I have to add an m over here. So now, since I did that, I have 5 on the left hand side of the equation equals, and negative 5m plus m is negative 4m, so I have 13 minus 4m. Now I want to move my constants over to the left hand side, so this is a positive 13, so I want to add a negative 13. So I'm going to take 13 away from both sides, and when I do that, I have 8 equals negative 4m. And then, as you know, I'm going to multiply by its reciprocal to get rid of it over here with my m. I have to do the same thing to the other side, and since this is a whole number, I can say yes, that I'm dividing by negative 4. And when I do that, I have 2 that is equal to m. Some equations containing parentheses, we know that some of these big long equations that we come upon have parentheses. They can be solved by first distributing. So when you take a look at a big old long equation like this, first thing I notice is I have my parentheses, and something out here needs distributed throughout this parenthesis. So I want to do that first. So over here I distributed my 3, and over here on my right hand side I distributed my 5, and this is the equation I have. Now the next thing I see that I need to do is I need to put my like terms together. On the left hand side, I only have 3n. I don't have any more n's, but I do have two constants that need put together, -6 and -1. On my right hand side, I only have -5n, but I have as well two constants that need to be put together, a 2 and a -25. So when I do that, I simplify that into this equation, and now I'm going to get my variables on one side and my constants on the other, and you can take a look and see what I did. Right here I added 5n to both sides, ended up with 8n minus 7 is -23, so now I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Now I have 8n equals -16, and then once again I'm going to multiply by its reciprocal, or since this is a whole number, I can divide by 8. So when I divide by 8, n equals -2. Yes, I do think you need to write out each of these steps. It can get long, and if you try to do too much in your head, you're going to tend to leave something out and miss something. So I always make it a practice to write out every step that I'm doing to make sure I don't leave something out. All right, we will be working on problems like these in class. Thank you.